Hi everyone. Let us wait a few seconds so that we can all get into the room. Okay, cool. You can just type in if you can hear me well, if you don't mind. Oh, thanks, Joe. Thank you. Hi, Oliver. Oh, brilliant. Cool. Okay, I guess we're all here. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Irek, and I'm pleased to introduce you to today's webinar, Building Email Lists with Lead Magnets, brought to you by GetResponse and our wonderful guest, Bowman. Barry has been named by LinkedIn as one of 25 social media marketing experts you need to know. He's the author of SEO Simplified for Attention Spans and operates Feldman Creative, where he provides content marketing consulting, copywriting, and creative direction services. Before getting started, let me go over a little bit of housekeeping. So the webinar will take approximately 55 minutes. During the webinar, Barry will show you how to plan, create, and promote great lead magnets that will help you build high-quality email lists. After the presentation, I will briefly introduce you to GetResponse Marketing Automation and show you how to create a marketing automation workflow using a lead magnet. We are recording the webinar, and we will send you the recording in a couple of days via email. You can message us anytime via chat. My friend Natalia is here with me, and she will help us moderate the discussion and make sure that we answer your questions. Please join us on Twitter. Use our dedicated hashtag, GR Automation Hub, to comment or ask any questions that come to your mind during or after the webinar. And now, without further delay, I'll pass the mic to Barry.
All right, thank you, Irek. Let's see here. Thank you for that great introduction, and I thank everybody for being here. Awfully flattering to see such a good crowd on hand, and I'm excited to talk about something that I specialize in, lead magnet. I guess you've gathered that I'm a veteran of online marketing and a content marketing specialist. And I have helped a number of companies develop sites and use them as a platform for lead generation. And today, lead magnets are a pretty common way that we do that. So I'm excited to talk to you today. Here's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the problem we're trying to solve and why lead magnets are the solution. I'm going to briefly cover techniques to plan some lead magnets, and then 5 principles that go along with that. I'm going to show you and talk to you about a fairly long list of different types of lead magnets. I think I feature 15, but stick around, because then I'm going to offer you a web page where you can get a freebie. So it's not actually a lead magnet. You can just simply go there and get it. And that's a little, for me, that is 50 lead magnets idea. I do that a little later. And then I'm going to share with you a whole bunch of ways to promote your lead magnet and talk about how to take advantage of some of those ideas. And then if you stick around and listen to Irek show you what you can do with GetResponse in terms of what you do post after capturing the email addresses, and then stick around for the question and answer session. I'll talk to you about how we can work together to do lead magnets. So stay tuned. All right, so what do most people do at your website? What happens here? You probably don't like the answer to that, and probably want them to do this, right? Do they buy stuff? Well, they usually don't. They usually vanish. They go back to Google. They go back to Facebook. Who knows where they go? Who knows why? But most people are just browsing. You know, the estimates are all over the place, but for a typical website, even if it converts well, 98% or more are there to read, or maybe even not that, and they're in research mode, and they're tire kicking, and they do not make a transaction. They do not buy. What they do is they leave. And when they do that, you don't get to say goodbye, and you don't get to say good luck, and they seldom come back. And so that is a problem. If you want to get people to buy something from you, you have to earn their trust, right? It calls for building relationships, and it typically takes time. So if the first thing that happens when they're at your website or a page on your website, if you're pushing your product on them, you'll find that some resistance, and that typically doesn't work. So what do you do? Well, I say this. A lot of people will talk about, a lot of digital marketers will tell you websites have all different types of objectives. And they do. I'm not denying that. You could certainly go through a list of different business models and say that this website is to sell a book versus this website is to put people in seats. But generally speaking, the website wants you to do something. And so I say they all have something in common, or at least they all share a common goal, and that is when they succeed, they find out who came there, right? Who are you? That is the goal. And so if somebody leaves without ever having given you any indication of who they are, and they don't come back, like we talked about, your website didn't do what you hoped it would do, so you failed. And so it's often said also that the money is in the list, and so we want to build a list of people that came to our website, and there's not too many exceptions to that these days. And if you're in marketing automation, which I suggest you begin to do, or perhaps you do, and that's why you are on the list of people that are invited to GetResponse webinars. The relationship begins there, right? We called this webinar Ground Zero, as we said in the website title. So in marketing automation, the relationship begins with a transaction, information exchange. And so that transaction doesn't necessarily have to be somebody getting out their credit card. And so in the lead magnet realm, we're typically talking about handing over information about yourself. So how do we get people to do that? We need to be helpful. We're talking about really content marketing here. The core of content marketing is being helpful and providing value. You want people to invest trust in you, and you want to get value in return. When you think about it, marketing automation really is about providing greater value by delivering relevant messages and relevant offers and products and services. And this is based on what people do, what they do in the process online, and data that we gather now, what they read, what they consume, and what they ask for. So we want them to ask for specific lead magnets that gives us a hint about what they're interested in. Then we can do what we do with automation. So you help yourself when you help your prospects solve a problem. And so we get into the point of the story. We do this by offering a lead magnet. So what is a lead magnet? It has a lot of nicknames. I did some research when I wrote an ebook and some posts on this topic. And people call them sign-up incentives. People call them content upgrades. This is not my favorite one, but people call them ethical bribes. One way or another, they are an exchange where the price is usually pretty small. The price is usually an email address and maybe some other information. So a lead magnet is a free offer you make in exchange for an email address. And of course, not everybody that gives you their email address is actually a lead, but they have the potential to become one. So I want you to understand this is not a lead magnet. This is probably the most common request or tactic I see people thinking or doing when they think they're building an email list, and that is somewhere on their website, on prominent pages, typically including the home page and also the blog if they have one, is a blank field with something above it that says something like, join our email list. Now, I see that all the time, and there's nothing magnetic about it, and there's no value attached to it. And this is not a serious approach to email marketing, and it's not going to work. Now, I'm not saying that nobody will ever be compelled to fill in that form based on the valuable information they found on your website. But joining our email list or a request to fill in the fields where you become an email subscriber is not a lead magnet. It's not compelling, it's not magnetic, and it doesn't come with an explanation of why you should do that. So it's not a serious approach. So let's talk about what is. This is a lead magnet. Now, there are millions, so I could have grabbed any one, but I know for a fact that Michael Hyatt, who has a very successful brand and is a personal brander, often creates ebooks as lead magnets and so many other things too, which we'll get into. But here I grabbed what he calls his toolbox. So this is a book of some sort, a electronic book, an ebook called Inside My Toolbox. And he says here in the subhead that it has 99 resources that will make your business and personal life hum. Very good title, very good subtitle, a very magnetic and compelling offer. So this is a lead magnet, and when it's packaged correctly, it should sound very helpful and irresistible and specific. So I precede myself. We'll get into that now. When you do a lead magnet, what you need to do is identify a topic and figure out how to get the pulling power that will magnetize people, if you will, such that they're compelled to give you their email address. So how do you do that? Is it as simple as picking your favorite subject? Well, it might be. If you've never done one before, your favorite subject, might be about the need for the category in which you sell to or in which your product is developed for, but it might not be. And so the section that follows here is about identifying a topic strategically, particularly if you're looking to differentiate your lead magnet from your competitions, or you're doing maybe your second or 20th lead magnet. You're going to need a flow of ideas just like you would with your blog. So let me share some ideas like that with you. Not to ask anybody how I'm being heard, so I'm just assuming that we have a great connection. Everybody can hear me. Somebody give me some confirmation in the chat that I'm coming through. Sound is good. All right, thank you, Susan. All right, let's get on with this. How will you have? Well, you have to do some research, and it's with, or it can start with keyword research. So you want to know what people search for. Google search data, you probably know this, is made available for free with your Google AdWords keyword planner tool. Hang with me here, and I'll have to sort of update this, but whether or not you buy ads from Google, you can sign on simply with your Gmail address or some Google account and get started on Google AdWords keyword planner, whether or not you're buying the pay-per-click program. Okay, so it's the universal free tool that will indicate to you first and foremost the level of search volume. So what we're doing here with keyword research with this tool is simply confirming that people are searching for a term that might give us hints about the lead magnet. And so when you put the term in, okay, what did I put in here? It's kind of small for me to see. I think it says camera. All right, so I put in the word camera to make my second point that the Google AdWords keyword planner is also a source to brainstorm with, because it's going to generate up to 800 related ideas. This tool is for people that are buying ads and trying to figure out words that are related to the word that they're doing. So if I'm a camera shop, or I'm trying to sell a camera for some reason, or talk about a camera, I put that word in, and then up to 800 ideas come my way. So keyword research is a great place to begin, and this tool is a great place to do it for free. Also, if you have a search functionality installed on your website, and you've hooked that up to your Google Analytics, you're going to want to review that. Okay, when people get to your website and do a search for something, they're feeding you information about what they're looking for, so that can be very helpful. And then there's social, right? Social media, when people are when you make emotional connection with them, when they value what you've offered, they share it, right? That's probably the biggest measure of success on social media, at least at the superficial level. So we want to know, what gets people excited enough to share. And one way to monitor social share numbers is to click around from site to site. You can go, to your site, other sites in your niche, your competition, maybe the industry publications, and there you can figure out what's popular, but that's sort of a laborious thing to do, one site at a time. And so this tool, if you're not familiar with it, is a very powerful tool that aggregates the shares from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, and Google+. And then recently they've added a column, if you look closely at my screenshot there, about backlinks. So lots of good information. So here I go to BuzzSumo, and I'm thinking about doing a lead magnet on the topic of guitar for beginners, as you see here as just an example. And it goes looking on the web for stories that had those terms in it, and it gave me ideas: how to play bass guitar for beginners, how to play metal guitar for beginners, easy songs to play. All of those could be lead magnets. And so social shares, particularly with the tool BuzzSumo, is another great way to do your homework to figure out how to get the pulling power you're looking for. You're also going to want to mine your analytics. If you've been doing content for really any period of time and you have Google Analytics code on your site, as you should, you will look at page views, kind of basic analytics. Did people look at these pages? The more they did, probably the more that they're interested in the topic they are. And you might look at other engagement metrics like time on page. And so if you extrapolate from that information where the activity is on your website and where people are spending the most time consuming it, those would be pretty good indications. If they're not already lead magnets, they should be. You might simply ask your customers, as I've done here, what they would like to learn more about. And so you can do that in up close and personal, on the phone, and of course with surveys and the various survey tools that are offered to you through Aftermarket products and the marketing automation products and GetResponse, which has a survey tool. So this search, or this survey that you see was me using GetResponse to ask my customers about topics that they'd like to learn more about. And so surveys is probably the best way to do that with a lot of people, at scale at the same time. And then you can actually just sort of be a fly on the wall and see what questions people are asking. And so you would do that in places where dialogue takes place, like Quora. Quora is the leading question and answer site. Yahoo has one called Yahoo Answers. And there's another one called answers.com. And then industry forums and LinkedIn groups and Facebook groups, the dialogue online in forums that anybody can join that bring people with like-minded interests together is largely about questions. And so if you snoop in on those questions, you're likely to discover a great idea for your ebook. This one's kind of a hack, but it's a hack I really like, and that is open up books and courses. You open up, books on Amazon or wherever you do your online book shopping, and courses, probably Udemy, or any place where you subscribe or buy online courses. They typically show you the table of contents or the outline or the syllabus, if you will. And so there's tons of ideas in those. So those are great for mining ideas. So here I actually have a miniature poodle, and miniature poodle, I forgot what this book's called, but clearly it's about miniature poodles. And if you look at that, that's the table of contents. So I grabbed a screenshot and put it up there and showed you every chapter could give me an idea for an ebook, and then the sections within the chapters can give me ideas for an ebook. So mining courses and books for ideas is a great little hack or shortcut. And same with reviews, really. Reading reviews is a little more work, but I read reviews for that book that I just showed you. I started reading reviews, and I'm starting to get inside the heads of people that care about miniature poodles. So it's just an example of any industry, I suppose, and or any niche that you might operate in. But if you have not done this data mining in Amazon, I seriously recommend you do. I know you'll learn something. And so reviews are great, right? Nobody tells people exactly how to write them, and so you get inside of the minds of your customers or prospects. And in this review, I got down to the point where this person loved the book, and he or she raved on about why, and her favorite part was how to adopt a poodle. Okay, so maybe the topic of my website is poodles, and an awesome lead magnet might speak to that topic specifically. All right, so let's say we have an idea. What are we going to do? How are we going to make a lead magnet that's uber effective? Well, here's 5 principles for creating a lead magnet that I think would help you out. First, you want to be specific. You want to tell your audience exactly what they're going to get. There's nothing compelling about a vague offer, so be ultra clear about the benefit of opting in for your free content. So this title that I'm about to read to you but not show you is vague. Okay, easy weight loss program. Okay, I picked that topic because it's such a popular topic. This one is specific. Lose 7 pounds in 9 days without starving or killing yourself at the gym. Killing yourself at the gym is what I said. All right, so you see the difference. Easy weight loss program, vague. Lose 7 pounds in 9 days without da 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 da. Very specific. That's going to help you compel readers to opt in. Deliver a desired result, like we just talked about in the example. I want to lose weight, I want to lose it fast, but I don't want to starve, and I don't want to hit the gym that hard. So that is an example also of delivering a desired result. So capture the attention of your prospects with your lead magnet by promising to move them closer to a desired result. That's why you see so many guides or tips or number lists or how-tos. You want people to understand the title, what the benefit is, how their problem is going to be solved. Provide instant gratification. Everybody wants shortcuts. They want the fast track. They want lessons they can apply immediately. So usually you're going to suggest in your title or your subtitle or your description or somehow that we're going to get to it fast. Now a lot of lead magnets are courses, mini courses. They're sort of drip out. They're a series of 10 emails or a series of 10 videos or something like that. So you have to sort of solve the problem differently here by saying, here's what you're going to learn in the first one. Or in the first one, we're going to lay out what you're going to learn in the subsequent 9 ones or 11 ones. You know what I mean? So if you're going to deliver information slowly, try to accelerate or try to suggest that they're going to be your prospect that opts in for your lead magnet is going to begin getting the benefits quickly. Be an authority. Your offer should show your prospect you're the expert. This is marketing. This is content marketing. We want them to consume it and make them want more from you. So a great lead magnet advances the relationship by increasing trust. So create it with the idea in mind that you're proving you're the best person or the best company to help with the problem, help solve that problem. And make it worth money. And that might be hard to do if it's a 2-page PDF or a piece of paper or what have you. But the idea is, free or not, the content that you create that will help you realize your lead generation goals should be valuable. So don't hold back. Put your best tips forward. Make it to the point where people would pay for it if they're asked. If you put together a big lead magnet, a webinar, a series, a course, a 30-page ebook, something like that, you want to blow your subscribers away and say, I can't believe I got that much information for free. Hopefully at the conclusion of this webinar, which is indeed a lead magnet, or for many of you might have discovered it without having already been on the GetResponse email list, now you are. And so we want, my goal is to help them present a webinar that people go, whoa, that was a lot of information and it was free and that was impressive. So let's keep striving for that now, and let's look at 15 types of high converting lead magnets. So like I said, I write a lot of lead magnets. I also consult with people to help them conceive them, and then they take it from there and do the research and so forth, do the planning. And so we're going to look at 15 favorites, but like I said, I have something for you that is a list, and there's 50 of them. So we won't look at 35, but you can have the list and go for it. Okay, so let's go through 15 and take a sip of water here. Up first, ebooks. An ebook is often your best bet for your first lead magnet. Well, the ebook is a flexible format and you have great room for creativity. The most popular style is your how-to guide, right? And so this is a how-to guide on email marketing. I got this example from section of my website that has free resources. And so ebooks are awesome. They come to mind first a lot of times in my mind because they can be chapterized and reused. And so that gets into another benefit of ebooks, and that is sort of a cost containment strategy. Ebooks, if they are in depth, they're going to have multiple chapters, and therefore they can be divided later and reused, therefore promoting your ebook all over the place, with multiple blog posts and social media updates and so forth. You might extract infographics out of them and assessments and the works. And then another strategy, if you're trying to do an ebook on the cheap and don't want to invest a lot up front in the making of an ebook, you can do it in reverse. You can do a bunch of small pieces of content, let's say a series of 5 to 10 blogs on a topic that's all related, and then you can roll that all up into an ebook. So probably the first idea that comes to mind when I'm talking about lead magnets with my clients. And like I said, they're flexible and can become just about everything or anything, but I like them to be kind of beefy. And second idea here is a video or a video series. Now, you don't usually see videos gated when they're singular. Gated, by gated, I mean, it has a form in front of it such that it operates as a lead magnet. So you don't want to scare people away if, say, here's a video. But a video course or something that's going to come with all this free learning. This is a very obvious example where you wouldn't be surprised to find a form in front of it. This company is Lead Pages, and I showed you in the bottom left there the syllabus, I guess, or the outline of their video course, and then you're just looking at one freeze frame from one of the videos, and so this is a very powerful lead magnet. This is it's about marketing automation. Never mind competition, but Lead Pages really specializes in helping you make lead magnets. All right, research reports. These are uber powerful. You conduct in-depth research about a topic or a series of related issues that your prospects can gain insights from, and publish it as an industry report, and you've got yourself a really magnetic offer. Industry research attracts attention from publishers all over the media spectrum, and so you'll find your efforts are rewarded with extended mileage in terms of online reach. You're gonna get a lot of coverage on search and social, and when you publish original and insightful research, it positions your company as an authority, and you're likely to field offers to do webinars and interviews and more. And so this is a great example from a Social Media Examiner. Annually they publish this thing, Social Media Marketing Industry Report, and because of it, they've managed to grow their email database something in the order of 500,000. So research reports are amongst the most powerful ones on this list. And then in terms of speed and efficiency and ease, this is amongst the most popular ones on the list too, because it's generally easy to do a lead magnet that is tips. And like I said, people look for instant gratification. So content marketers in recent years, if you read about blogging and lead generation, you've probably heard the term content upgrades. Content upgrades is a name which, what it means is like you're reading a blog post and the author is offering you sort of a portable version of it, right? It's going to be a summation. It might just be the exact same copy as the blog post, but provided to you as a PDF. And so those are tip sheets, and people like them. And so here, I don't know for a fact, but this example is for parents of toddlers that are about to have a photo shoot, and chances are pretty good they were reading a page or a post about that. And this company, Lightroom Presets, made available to the readers a tip sheet. So that's a good affordable way to get involved in the lead magnet generation business real quick. Checklists are immensely successful, popular, well-liked. Think of a checklist kind of as a variation of a tip sheet, but if you can, you can make it clear that a checklist is a time-saving device. So sometimes a checklist is, very much 11 tips, to review or something like that. But I went looking for, as an example, for a checklist that actually is interactive, and you can, use it as a resource and that operates as a list, or reminder list or something. So the general idea at work is people like order and simplicity. So, describe something that is a list as a checklist that can be helpful, and you've got yourself a great lead magnet idea. Templates, again, everything's all about time saving, right? Helping people be more efficient, more productive. So the time saving benefits of a useful template or a series of them are probably pretty obvious. If you create works in commonly used file formats, such as PowerPoint, you can offer the file in exchange for an email address. So this is an example here where I think this is HubSpot. HubSpot has done precisely that by saying if you're making ebooks, here's a bunch of starter designs, and this probably in PowerPoint, but yeah, it says PowerPoint and InDesign. Okay, so those are the first one's a very common platform, and the second one, I guess, isn't, but designers know it well, and therefore, templates can be very useful. And maybe you're not a designer. What about that? If design's not your thing, well, a template can be copy-based too, right? Like I could write a template that is a great introduction email, or a template for writing a great lead for your blog post, or a list of headlines, or so forth. So any sort of template that is a time saver and appears to fast track somebody is likely to be a great lead magnet. Assessments. This is a raging hot area of new media called interactive content. And so you see quiz style assessments being offered, and they're amongst the most useful lead magnets you can possibly offer, not only for your potential buyers, but for your marketing department. And here's why. Your assessment, first of all, helps the reader better understand his or her challenges, right? They're going to say yes or no or maybe, and in the end come out with some sort of useful action plan. And so the results help self-qualify for specific solutions that you might recommend or sell, and sometimes automatically, right? Like if you got a 16, refer to this, so that's how assessments work. They have some sort of automated scoring system. But then behind the scenes, if you're in the marketing automation game, and behind the scenes, what happens here is the information that you often can't have by asking for in terms of forms. Like if you have a form with 12, 15 fields on it because you want to kind of interview or pre-qualify your customer, you're sort of cutting your own throat in terms of a conversion. I think I'll get in a slide coming up soon. But the idea is, the less fields, the less information you ask for, the higher your response rate will be. But when people fill out assessments, they're sort of filling out forms for you. They're telling you cool stuff that feeds into your marketing automation system that are golden to marketers because it includes data about the prospects that you can use to lead score and then lead nurture. If you know more about your prospects, they gave you from an assessment, you could do a better job providing them the content they need. Tools, digital tools, there's all kinds of them and they work well. I made one in collaboration with this company called Content Tools with the idea that people need a template to quickly create, that's kind of hard to say, quickly create a content marketing plan. So this was that type of digital tool, but all types of digital tools, if you have the resources to create them, are shortcuts that people will certainly give up their email address and made more for, such as widgets and plugins for websites and blogs, scoring platforms, questionnaires, search tools, keyword sourcing tools, calculators, benchmarks. This is sort of open to your imagination, but you'll find a tool to be a very powerful lead magnet. Miniature courses, I've mentioned them before. Those are often emails, and sometimes they're videos. They could be audio, a series of podcasts. They could be a series of graphics, or they could be any combination. But you'll find an offer like this on a lot of websites because it does have a great pulling power. Webinars, we talked about that a little bit already in terms of this one itself being a lead magnet. Every webinar can potentially be a lead magnet, and they operate live, but they usually are archived, and they therefore can continue to be gated and continue to be promoted and continue to convert people that were strangers into being prospects, or at least being on your email list. So webinars are powerful in so many ways. They are great for nurturing leads, in some cases for converting prospects, for training, for teaching, for enhancing retention of existing customers, and encouraging advocacy and referrals. And so it definitely belongs on this list of top 15 membership sites or memberships. A lot of times, this example here is Marketing Profs, which is a really cool example because Marketing Profs is they're in marketing and their audience are marketers, largely of small businesses, mostly B2B, and there is an amazing amount of free information there, but it is a membership-based place, and so we're in a membership-based portal. So when you get there, it asks for your email, and that gives you access to most of the information you can get there, and then one of their products is graduating that into a premium version of the membership where you pay for access to even more content. So they simply say, you want to help yourself to all the stuff that's here, tell us who you are. So that's probably a little more complicated of a way to go, but a powerful way to go. Contests are awesome. They lure prospects to participate because of the potential to be rewarded with products and services and discounts. And generally they're fun. You see them on Instagram all the time. So here's a frozen yogurt shop. So you don't have to reward with prizes. You could, that would certainly be easy enough to do if you're a yogurt shop. But you can reward people with recognition. You can reward them with additional information, and there's lots of ways to figure out a reason to participate in the contest. But people just like contests. And another beautiful thing about conducting contests, especially in this sort of capacity in social media, is you create user-generated content. Actually, I should say you gather user-generated content, because it is indeed user-generated. So your users give you the content. So here, this company cleverly is asking for pictures, I think, of people having fun eating their product. So contests feel great. And product-based offers, you can go a lot of different directions here. See this all the time for online services. Free trial, demonstration, free sample, free quotes, free consultations, downloaded catalog, sales material, coupons. So consider product-based offers as well in your mix of lead magnets. And then email. You might have gathered that I was kind of dissing email before, saying this is not a lead magnet. But what I meant to say was, or what I wanted you to know, is it's not a lead magnet if all you're saying is join our email list. But an email can be positioned as valuable as this one is, right? It says your free daily email for life well lived, and then it gives you 3 benefits of being on their email list in a very well designed, very simple form. And so most online marketers that are trying to build email lists will indeed have newsletters or reasons to follow up with email. Certainly if you're practicing marketing automation, that's going to be one of the tricks of the trade. And so I didn't mean to be saying don't use email as a lead magnet, but do make it very clear why you should join the email list. So I told you to stick around. It'll only be a few minutes now before I get to numbers 16 through 50. I'm not going to walk you through them. I'm just going to offer you a downloadable asset that has a list of 50 lead magnets. All right, so what are we going to do now? I got only 7 minutes to fly through promotional ways to get people to know about your email and your lead magnets. So buckle up, I'm going to go fast. Here is the ways you promote your lead magnets. You can promote them on your website, and you would do that first with your homepage. It's the traffic center of your site, so add a call to action on your homepage featuring your offer. Resources pages, a lot of times in the navigation of your website or maybe in the navigation of your blog, it is mentioned, or there's a display ad, or it's just, like I said, in the navigation that you have like a library of free resources, webinars, ebooks, and so forth. You centralize them as a convenience to your readers. So put your lead magnets there and describe them and highlight new ones with them at the top. And let's see, I thought I hit the next slide. Your blog, direct readers to your lead magnets from your blog pages, both at the index page where where they land when they click blog, or on individual posts that have relevant topics. And so that's a great way to wrap your blog. Would you like to read more about this topic? Click here, and then you're sending them either to a pop-up or the landing page where you're promoting your lead magnet. All right, so those are 3 ways to promote your lead magnet on your website. Here are ways to promote your lead magnets on content hubs. And so I basically here I mean other websites. SlideShare, I hope you're familiar with SlideShare. If you're not, you should be. It's a LinkedIn property, and it has, last I read, I think 60 to 70 million a month. And so it's free to use, and therefore you should put your lead magnet there. Now that won't be gated, so you won't be building an email list. So what you might do, like if you have a extensive lead magnet, a course or an ebook or a research report, you might do an abbreviated version of it, put it on SlideShare with a link to where they get the entire version of it. YouTube, it wouldn't be that hard to make quick videos about your offer and put it on YouTube where millions of people go and search and enjoy themselves and spend an awful lot of time. So another hub you consider. And then content hubs in general, without knowing what industry you're in, there are all kinds of places where, article directories and other slide shares of the world where people put PDFs and presentations and webinars and then sometimes there are even content hubs that just simply collect ebooks. So if you're offering a publication as your lead magnet, then seek out hubs where you think your customers will be. So 3 ideas there for you. This is the longest list, and this is the list of ideas to promote your lead magnets on social media. In your updates, right, you have a new lead magnet. I did one that came out yesterday, and I saw it flying around the Twitter sphere, and I think it made its way to LinkedIn and Pinterest. So definitely promote your lead magnets with updates on social media, and not once, over and over again for a long time, and then maybe give it a rest and come back to it again, especially on Twitter where the half-life is so short. So you're not going to want to be one and done when you promote your stuff on social media. When you promote it and you have the opportunity to hashtag that people might know, or you want to give it a name, or maybe it's part of a bigger program, use a hashtag. And you can certainly buy ads. There aren't too many social media left that won't take your money, and people swear by the effectiveness of Facebook ads in particular. And so put a little money behind your lead magnets, you're likely to get far more traffic to the page where they'll get it. Pinterest, of course, you'll definitely want to have a Pinterest account and pin your lead magnets there, particularly if you sell something that appeals to that audience, which is the majority, I think, remains female. It doesn't exclude men by any means. I'm there often, but there are so many hobbyists and interests represented on Pinterest. You can find a place for your lead magnet there that will help pull traffic and interest. Oh, I advanced 2 at the same time, didn't I? Pinterest. Okay, your LinkedIn profile. Yeah, your LinkedIn profile is amazingly flexible into media. You can put videos there, you can put publications there, you can put links there, you can put mentions there. So your LinkedIn profile is flexible to the point where if you have a great lead magnet that represents you well as a person, put it on your personal LinkedIn profile. If it's a better fit for your company, put it on your LinkedIn company page. Live streams, if you've dabbled in this now, these companies have sort of come and gone already, but it appears as a category. It's in favor. It's taking place largely on Periscope and Facebook, and therefore you can have sort of miniature announcements, if you will. Some people have regular programs, but give yourself a reason to keep talking. Like much of what I said today, I suppose, could have been done on a live stream and operating as a lead magnet. Not to get to it probably, but to, as an offer to conclude. So at the end of your stream, you would say, go here and get this. And then your cover photo, right? Just about every social media has the ability to customize the profile page with a cover photo. So you'll often see people announcing the availability of an ebook or a course, or one of the things we talked about that would function as your lead magnet, featured at the top of the page where it can't be missed. Is to promote otherwise would be to email your database, and let them know of. Now, I guess there's sort of an irony there, because in some cases you would already have their email address. But this might be cross-promoting. If you're doing marketing automation, you're segmenting lists, and so you might get people from one list to another. Certainly want, if you put all the work into creating lead magnets, even if it's just to promote the idea of your authority, you certainly want people to take you up on that and let them know via email. Use webinars to announce them. And oops, I went two at a time again. Bring them to trade shows, or bring a fishbowl where you can collect business cards of interested people, or a kiosk or a tablet. One way or another, let people know that you have free information for them at trade shows. Mention them in your speaking engagements. Here are a whole bunch of examples of lead magnets that I've done, including a solopreneur's journey into marketing automation, something that I published recently on GetResponse. So if you haven't read that and you're a solopreneur and you want to know what I know and went through, that would be a good one. I show you these to show you the variety of examples. These are all ebooks, but they could be webinars and presentations, easily repurposable, and in many cases they were. And so a whole bunch of examples of lead magnets here. It helps to package them. They're generally non-physical things. People get them digitally, but to show them as something on a computer or a tablet such that they look like books, I think helps. And so here's a couple of examples of how I've packaged lead magnets to promote my company. Take a look here. Cranking Your Ranking, 21-point SEO blog checklist. Now, you don't know unless I told you what you're going to get when you click that, and it might appear that you're going to get something major. So I wanted to show you an example of this quickie approach that I talked about earlier called the content upgrade. There it is. When you get Cranking Your Ranking, that thing that I showed you on the previous page, inside is just simply one-page piece. So the type of lead that you can get together fast and deliver a lot of value. Speaking of a lead magnet that's fast and just really a list, this is that offer that I said you can have ungated, available to you immediately. And so you should know my website. It is feldmancreative.com. And when you get there, if you want this list of 50 lead magnets, put in /50 LMs. All right, so I'm not done. I'm going to check the questions you've asked. So if you haven't asked questions, ask them now. And I'm going to answer those questions and direct you to a little offer I'd like to make you. But now I'm going to hand it back to my partner here, Eric.
Cool. Thank you, Barry. Thank you very much for your presentation. It's been great. Now we all have a lot of information to consider and useful tips to use in our online marketing campaigns. For all those who want to take action, I wanted to show how to use lead magnets in a marketing automation workflow. Okay, so for the start, let me explain what marketing automation is and how it works. Marketing automation is a set of conditions, actions, and filters that allow you to create workflows that reflect a subscriber journey or experience. So for example, you can use marketing automation to create a workflow to welcome new customers, reward customer engagement, create a holiday promotional campaign, or launch an online course. You can use statistics and certain features like, for example, tagging and scoring to quickly learn about your subscribers' preferences and optimize your campaigns in order to send the right messages to the right people at the right time. So let's build a marketing automation flow using a lead magnet. Let's use a webinar as an example. So here is a landing page promoting a webinar. Of course, if you are interested, you can click the Save Your Spot button that redirects you to a web form where you can sign up. So now allow me to switch and jump into my GetResponse account. Okay, so all you need to do in order to create a workflow is like you use the automation feature, right? Create a workflow. Okay. All righty. So now you should be able to see everything perfectly, right? If you can see that, I will just go back a bit to show you exactly how it works. Right now I'm in my GetResponse account. All I need to do is just use automation feature, and then create a workflow. And here we go. So you've got some useful tips to begin building your workflows. It's good to have some goods ready. So of course you're going to send messages. So the best thing is to prepare them first. Okay, and well, we just need to give a name. Let's say webinar. Okay, and then we start with subscribes. So we know that people are going to use the landing page, yeah, and then they will be redirected to a subscription form. When they do that, we want to send them a message. So we are using this action, select, send message. This is going to be like, thank you message with a link to the webinar directly. Then we can use this filter, like dynamic segment, for example. And at this point, we can actually create a segment of people who participated in the webinar, and we can, like send them different messages. And of course, those who didn't participate, they can still, like, receive no message with a link to the recording, for example. So here we go. Of course, we want to. Okay, we want to score the people who participated. So let's give them, yeah, we can add points. I'll just give 10 for that. Thank you. Then we can tag them, right? So we are using the tag action. Okay, so let's participate it. Here we go. Okay, so all the people who clicked the link to the webinar and participated, they receive 10 points and they are assigned the tag participated. Okay, we want to send them a thank you message. So I don't know, you can, if code or any kind of special offer, yeah, you can send it to those people who participated as a sort of like reward. And then you wait for 1 day. And you can send a message with the webinar recording. And of course, you still remember about the people who, for different reasons, couldn't participate. So I would just suggest, I don't know, waiting maybe for like 5 days. Okay, and still send them the message with the link to the recording. Right, you could also see if they clicked, right? So you can use this condition. If they clicked your message, you can go on with scoring and, for example, provide them with additional 5 points, right? So it's that simple, actually. As you can see, we can use this easy to use drag and drop editor and create workflows in seconds. So thank you very much. I'm going to go back to the webinar. Okay, here we go. Right, so now you know how easy it is to build a workflow. We have a few minutes left, fortunately, for a quick Q&A session. So over to you, Barry. It would be great if you could answer a few questions.
All right, you got it. I will answer as many as I can. I want to thank you for being here. I also want to, I said I'd make you a little offer. That is not really like a discount or act now type of thing. It's simply a place, a GetResponse page, actually, that is feldmancreative.com. And this is also the answer to a question I got about joining my email list. So you obviously can do that at my website. So there's my website. And if you go to /leadme, you'll be indicating to me you either want to talk to me about the development of your lead magnet or have me help you make one. So that's where you would do that. During the course, let's see, okay, of my presentation, people asked about my email list, joining it. We covered that. Somebody said you can use SlideShare to capture leads. That was true, but to update you on that, SlideShare has killed that functionality. So no, if you're using SlideShare to promote a lead magnet, you'll want to build in links back to a landing page or a place on your site where they're offered. There was questions about my solopreneur, article, which is a post, and it's readable online, and it's also downloadable. So it is an ebook made available by GetResponse, and you should find that in the Marketing Automation Hub. And Natalia has posted links to the blog post itself. And then somebody said that they enjoyed it so much and they thought it was worth $300 or $297. So I thank you for that. And then here are some emails I've got, or some questions I've got via email. One of our hosts behind the scene emailed them to me. Can you give a lead magnet of an inspirational book that is not related to your niche, but you believe it would benefit your list overall and their lifestyle? Yeah. I mean, I think, amongst your lead magnet mix, you're going to want super relevant stuff to your niche because you want to position yourself as an authority and problem solver. But yeah, I just did one. And it didn't have a lot to do with the audience. The audience was software trainers. I mean, it didn't have a lot to do with the product, which is a virtual instruction lab sort of infrastructure type of deal. It was simply about software training and how to get better at it. So yeah, what you want to do is get inside the minds of your audience, figure out how to be useful. And so I think the answer to that question is yes, but I don't know that I would make my first lead magnet anything but specifically relevant to a problem that you solve with your product or service. Tom, how long does an ebook have to be considered an ebook rather than an article? There's no answer to that. If it scares you to call what you're doing an ebook because it's 2 pages or 4 pages, call it a how-to guide or a marketing guide or a tip sheet or a list or a cheat sheet or what have you. Ebook really just means you've turned it into something electronically consumable, so that there's no specific answer to that. But there's no need to use the name ebook either. In a way, that might confuse people that are considering what they get on their Kindles, electronic versions of traditional books. But certainly in the marketing field, we call them ebooks. And when I write them for customers, they're usually 12 pages and up, probably average about 25 to 30 pages. Ronald asks where to get good, expensive ebook covers. If you haven't tried yet, try Canva. Canva.com is a template-based design tool that's free. 90% of it's free. It has a tiered freemium model, if you will. So it is a subscription-based thing. You can get ebook covers. You can buy them if you use a particular design program, even something as crude as PowerPoint or Keynote on the Mac, Pages, Publisher, or any tool. If you get into the sophisticated league of Adobe products, you could do a search for ebook covers, templates they're probably likely to be called, and go from there. But yeah, there's a built-in templates into most programs, as is, and there's also aftermarkets that you'll find. But I love Canva, and there are starting to be quite a few imitators that make it so that you have, fast starters for everything you can think of: calendars, invitations, social media updates, and ebook covers are amongst them. Do you advise to take an ebook and convert parts to a video? Yes, or the other way around. If you have yourself a juicy topic, you want to repurpose it every which way. People like to consume content in different forms, different people, some very mobile, some very phone friendly, some impatient, some more likely to spend some time. So yeah, go for it. Turn ebooks into videos and videos into ebooks. How do I set up an ebook? Well, that one's too broad. I would recommend Elaine contact me and we'll take it from there. Susan asks, where would research be posted that gets social media coverage? I hope to have spoken to that, but if you have a research report, you're going to want to promote it every conceivable way, and then after a while, if it's good, it starts to take care of itself. But certainly on social media and on your website and all the various places that I talked about promoting your lead magnets would apply to promoting your research. And then you might take it that much further by looking for opportunities to be interviewed on podcasts and various programs that have experts on. And Susan also asked, do you recommend to copyright ebooks and templates? No, definitely not templates. Templates are made to be repurposed and reproduced, and so you don't own them, I think. There might be exceptions. And I can't think of a reason to copyright an ebook. I suppose it's possible you can be plagiarized and you can follow up, but you know, I guess you could throw a unofficial trademark or copyright on something published and call it your own and try to go from there if you have somebody threatening the integrity or plagiarizing you, but it's something we sort of have learned to live with, and I'm not a lawyer, so I can't really go on any further about that. Are there any further questions? If you asked them and they flew by in the chat, I missed them as I was reading my email. Where to publish research? Lisa asks, if I am doing a Facebook Live video series, would you recommend making an event through Facebook to promote it? I don't know. I've talked to a Facebook expert about that. I would say yes, but also on, you know, knowing what I know about Facebook, some people are using the tabs and some aren't. So if you're doing a video series, I would promote it every conceivable way. But if you have a large Facebook audience and they're a mature Facebook audience, yeah, I'll put up the events page. But you know, that doesn't mean don't put it up on your timeline, of course, and you know, let your audience know if you have no list, and do everything else you can think of to get newbies to start listening, and get your Facebook people to share previous episodes, right? Please send a copy of this webinar. I think that's a done deal. I think that came with the housekeeping that this will be recorded and archived. What's the best way to begin repurposing your content? I'm going to have to refer that one to a conference with me, feldmancreative.com/leadme. Repurposing is a lesson unto itself and a fun one, so I'll enjoy delivering that to you. Dila, I think that's how you say your name. Can you recommend a good assessment tool? Well, for one-offs, you're going to want to go to like Playbuzz and Quizzer. There's lots of, do a search for quiz creation software. If you're serious about it at an enterprise level, there are companies like Ion Interactive and Snap App and Ceros, C-E-R-O-S, companies that specialize in interactive content. And I have an article on that topic, so check that out, and there'll be some resources that are tools and services for making assessments. Okay, I'm going to have to wrap it up. We've gone a little bit over, and I thank you very much, and I hope you will follow up on my website with my free offer, and in this page here, /leadme, if you'd like to talk to me about the creation of a lead magnet. Thank you very much. Great to see so many people here and such great questions.
Hi, Barry, thank you very much for sharing your ideas with us and answering the questions. Thank you guys for joining us today and being such an active group. As promised, we are going to send you a link to watch and download this presentation so that you have everything you need whenever you are ready to take action on the things that you've learned today. So thanks again, and we look forward to seeing you on the next GetResponse webinar soon.